Hi, I'm James. Welcome to my channel. I hope you liked that video. You may notice there's something a little off in my demeanor. I'm a bit upset because I've relapsed. Yeah. I said I was going to be taking a break from Star Wars visual effects so I can branch out, into other genres, other film series, start taking comment suggestions from you guys. But yeah, it's just there. Something just pulling me back in. And it's good to be back. So let's start off by setting up the scene within Blender. So I got myself an X-Wing and a TIE Fighter and a TIE Interceptor 3D model. The links will be below. Then for the background environment, I got this HDRI from productioncrate.com. This also lights the ships. And then the final step to setting up the environment is to add some clouds to the sky. For my clouds, I got this VDB collection from the Blender Marketplace. Then what I did in my Blender scene was add a cube, made it cover the entire scene, give it a particle system, make the particles fill the volume of the cube, bring some of those cloud VDBs into my scene, put them in a new collection, then back in the particle system, you choose that collection to be instanced. And that's the environment all done. Now give me 1 second whilst I grow a moustache. Anyway, now that all the setup is done, let's start making some dogfight scenes. I'm going to start off with a really, really simple one. It's just going to be a TIE Interceptor chasing one of the X-Wings. Yeah, there we go. There's my TIE Fighter and the X-Wing. Clearly there is some issues with the scaling. I don't actually know the scale difference between an X-Wing and a TIE Interceptor. I could look it up. I'm not doing that. Get f***ed, pussy. Sorry, don't know why I said that. I'm not putting that in the video. All right. So to animate them, I'm going to add a path, which I will make both of the ships follow said path. So what I'm going to do first is Shift A, add a new curve, and make it a path. Here is the path. I'm going to tab into edit mode. And here we go, we've got all the vertices. To make the path, I'm going to extrude out the vertices. So I'm going to hit 7 on the numpad, and that's going to give me the bird's eye view. And I'm just going to draw a little path that I want. So I'm going to hit E, extrude out, E again. I'm just going to kind of make them go, I can fly over here. And they'll be like, ooh, I'm going to fly over here now. Yeah. The X-Wing is really going to be like, trying to get away. All right. Now I can just select the individual points and add some height differences to it. So just hitting G, then Z to lock it to the Z axis. And there we go. That's a interesting looking little path. So now what I'm going to do, I'm going to Shift A and add a new empty. Then I'm going to scale it up so the TIE Fighter fits inside. Yep, good enough. Then I'm going to select the TIE Fighter, then Shift select the empty, Control P, and parent it to the empty. So now the empty controls the TIE Fighter. Then what I'm going to do is select the empty, go over to the Constraints tab, and add a Follow Path constraint. And I'm going to select my path. Oh. Animate path. Wonderful. It's now going along the path. However, it's not facing the right direction, so what I can literally do is just hit follow curve. Whee! It's also going a bit too quickly, so what I'm going to do is select the path, go over to its settings, and increase the number of frames that the animation takes place over. So let's make it 100 to 150. Still probably a bit fast, let's just go 250. And then I'm going to do the exact same process for the X-Wing. And the X-Wing needs to be in front of the TIE Fighter. So I'm just going to go into the constraints settings and decrease the offset. And that just offsets the animation. Yeah. So I'm trying to keep the camera movement really grounded. So I'm not doing any like crazy shots where the camera's like orbiting around the whole scene, because that just makes it unrealistic, because that's not something you could achieve if you were filming X-Wing and TIE Fighters for real. which is not something you can do yet. So you see this shot, it's like, it's something you could actually film for real if you had a TIE fighter. You know, you could just stick your camera on the side somehow with a suction mount or something and hope it doesn't fall off in the wind. Now I'm going to add another camera just for another cool angle on the TIE fighter. I'm going to Shift A, add a camera, and I'm going to Control P and parent that one to the TIE fighter as well. I'm going to make this one be out at the front. Going to make the camera extremely wide angle, so let's make it 12. Let's see what that looks like. Not bad. And what I'm making it look like here is that, you know, I've attached the camera to the end of the wing. Get it closer up. You know, maybe I'll attach it here so you can still see the lasers coming out of the other wing. Awesome. And now, you know, we are in the middle of the sky, so there should be some camera jitter because, you know, I'm an idiot and have not secured my camera onto the TIE fighter correctly. So I'm going to use this free add-on called Shakify. I'm going to hit plus, change it from investigation to a handycam run. See, it's a bit too much shake there. I'm just going to lower the influence till it looks, you know, like a nice wobble. Bit lower. Nice, and that little bit of extra movement I think really makes the shot feel, you know, alive. I'm going to show you how I made the lasers. Well, technically I didn't even make them. I'm using a free add-on called Pew Pew, made by High Ground Animations for his short film Tuck Tales. You can actually give him money as well, which I would recommend, but it is free, but you can pay. What did I do, you may ask? I can't remember. I think I gave him money. I got it for free. Now, so I'm going to go add laser emitter. I'm going to Control P to parent it to the TIE fighter. Then I'll just rotate it into the position in which it's going to be firing. Now what's great about this add-on is that you can literally just hit Pew on whatever frame you want to fire the lasers and it will just fire a laser. So I'm going to turn off the muzzle flash settings because I don't want there to be a muzzle flash, I just want the laser. And I don't want there to be any collisions either. But what is really cool about this add-on is that it does actually create scorch marks and sparks when it interacts with something. I just don't want it right now, but it can do that, so you should definitely use it. Let's change the color of the laser to custom and make it green. Just lower the saturation a bit. All right. And hit Pew. It's a bit too thin for a ship laser, so I'm just going to delete that one. Let's increase the size. Whoa, calm down. Let's decrease the size. Okay, should be good. Not bad, not bad, not bad. And it's currently firing from within the wing of the TIE fighter. Let's fix that by changing the offset. I think it's on the Y. Yep, there we go, that fixes that. I feel like it should be a little bit longer, so let's increase the Y scale. Yeah, it's a bit too much. Increase that down again. I'll have to change the offset a bit more. Nope, a bit more. Awesome. So you hit Pew, and it's moving really slow compared to the TIE fighter. So let's fix that. Let's go up here and increase the speed. Okay, I'm happy with that speed. So now I'm just going to go through the animation and hit Pew whenever I want a laser to fire. Go there, there. Man, this guy sucks at firing, eh? Now with this one done, I can just Shift D to duplicate the laser emitter and just repeat the exact same process. Now I'm sure you've got a couple of questions. One, what is that? That is a light. And two, where did the moustache go? I shaved it off because a girl told me to. I'm joking, that's not what happened. That's not what happened. It's not what happened. Why would I do that? I did it out of my own free will, you know? I just wanted something new, all right? It's not what happened. Okay. Using this free will, I think I'm gonna use some of it right now to talk about today's sponsor, Skillshare. Skillshare is the largest online learning community for creatives, with thousands of classes led by industry experts across film, illustration, design, freelance, productivity, and more. Over in the search bar, we can simply look up VFX and get heaps of classes. If we want to be more specific, we can look up Blender or After Effects, and we can easily find so many more classes for those. Something that I'd like to do for my films is to learn how to make massive, large-scale environments, and Unreal Engine is perfect for that. The only problem is, I haven't learnt Unreal Engine yet. So let's search up Unreal Engine Landscape. And look here, we've got a class with hours of knowledge and potential skills to be learnt. So I best get started with that one. And the first 500 people to use my link in the description below will get a 1-month free trial of Skillshare. So get started today. Now we've covered all of the basics. We know how to animate our ships, we know how to attach cameras, and we know how to make lasers. But now we get to the cooler parts, like exploding the ships. And I think that's it. Here is the TIE fighter I want to explode. TIE interceptor. I'm sorry. That won't happen again. I'm going to select the TIE interceptor and add a new particle system. And there we are, it's now just dropping particles. That's fucked up. I want it to explode on frame 40, just cause. So I'm gonna make the frame start be 40, and the explosion of the actual ship will be, 2 frames or so. So let's just go end as 42. So when you hit play, just drop some particles for 2 frames. However, I do not want these particles to be particles. No, what I want them is to be pieces of the ship. So I'm going to go to the modifiers tab, add modifier, search for a explode modifier. And now hit play. Now it's the ship pieces as well as the particles. So I'm going to go back to the particle settings and under viewport display them as none. As you just saw there, the simulation just stops. That's because the lifetime of the particles is only 50. So let's just increase that. Yep, that'll be good. Now you hit play and it'll just fall all the way down. Back in the modifier settings, I'm also going to select cut edges, which cuts the edges so it's not so uniform. I think that's what it's doing anyway. Don't ask me. Now, clearly something is awry. It's not exploding, it's just breaking up and falling. So what I'm going to do is Shift A and add a new force field and make it a force. Here we go. Here's our force. Brilliant. I'm just going to put that into the center of the TIE fighter, or wherever it's being shot from. Now I can go into the force settings. Obviously a strength of 1 doesn't do anything at all really. So I'm going to increase to, let's just say, 500. I'll also increase the noise amount all the way up. Wow, that's a lot of force. Yeah, let's decrease the force down to maybe 239. I like being specific, you see. Yeah, that's still not very good. Let's make it 112. Let's make it 50. Oh yeah. Let's make it 30. All right, we're getting somewhere. I do not mind that. As you can see here, the explosion is too spherical. So I'm gonna add another force. Just gonna Shift D, duplicate one we've already got, and change it from a force to a turbulence, which will add turbulence to the simulation. All right, cool. I am fairly happy with the explosion. So let's just go into the particle settings and bake that animation. So here we go. Here's our ship, and yeah, it explodes. Now let's add the explosion fireball itself. For that, I'm going to use a VDB, which stands for... it's on the screen right there. Yep, that's what it means. Whatever that says. I downloaded a couple of free VDBs I found off of Google. The links will be below. Yeah. I'm gonna go Shift A and add a volume, import open VDB. I'm gonna use midair explosion 1. All right, where is it? Where is it? Where is she? Oh wow, and there it is. How cool. Naturally, I want the explosion animation to begin when the ship explodes. So you can select the VDB and go to its settings. And here you go, here you got the frame, so I'll just change that to frame 40. Yeah, nice. All right, let's go to the shading tab. And add a new material for the VDB. I'm gonna delete the principled. Actually, I'm not doing that. I'm gonna keep the principled volume. Now what I'm gonna do to actually see the flames is to increase the black body intensity from 0 to 1. Well, now we're seeing something. And I'm going to decrease the density so we can see more of the flames. What? And then I'm also going to increase the temperature from 1000 to, let's say, 7000. Oh my god. That looks so cool. And let's bring some of that density back in. And there it is. I'm pretty happy with the look of this explosion. However, in compositing, I will actually make it look good. Because right now it sucks. Yeah, I was lying before when I said it looked good and I was happy with it. I'm not happy with it. In fact, I'm never happy. And now it's just a matter of comping everything together. So what I did was render out each section as a separate image sequence within Blender. I rendered out the background HDRI, I rendered out the ships, I rendered out the clouds, I rendered out the lasers, and the explosions. I think that's all the layers. And then within your compositor of choice, mine is After Effects, you just stack all the layers up, and there's your shot. Sort of, you know, you might want to add some extra glow to the explosions and the lasers to really make them pop. You also couldn't really see the clouds, so I duplicated the layer a couple of times so you can, you know, they really pop out. Also some lens flares and lens dirt to make the lens feel dirty, because realistically, if I was actually filming a TIE Interceptor and X-Wing for real, I'd probably take the time to clean the camera lenses so they're not grubby, so lens dirt doesn't show up. But you know, we've already established that I'm an idiot, so yeah, I just didn't clean them. So now there's lens dirt, but I think it makes it look cooler. And there we have some Hollywood visual effects. Let me know how you reckon I did, and I'm gonna now try and think of something witty to end the video. I love you.